Hi there, it's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it's Make It Monday. And I have 4 projects to share with you for our class this month. So this is a pre-recorded version just because I will be having class when this airs. So I hope that you enjoy. I hope that you will still comment, let me know what you're thinking. And I always love to look back at your comments, and I hope that you enjoy these fun projects because I really enjoyed making them. So just to remind you a couple of things, right now, open registration for my bingo crafting day. It's Saturday, September the 6th. That registration ends in like a week. So just giving you a little reminder, it came in your email if you're on my email list. If you're not, there's a link in here. Once this is not live, there's a link for you to go ahead and get signed up for that email. That email should be coming out between when this is recorded and when it plays, hopefully. So yes. Anyways, I've already sent that one, but I will remind everybody again before the deadline ends. But the other thing is our fundraiser for my nephew Micah, his family, because Micah passed away, as some of you noticed in my text and emails, or my message and emails. He passed away last Monday. So we are still doing the fundraiser for his family, for little children and his wife, as she navigates this new normal for her. Anyways, that information, that's what's coming out between when I'm recording this and hopefully when it airs to you. If I have, it's crazy because when you're seeing this is the day of the funeral, and then I have a class in the evening, like 2.5 hours apart. So it's going to be a little navigating to make everything happen. But hopefully we can get that event out to you, because we're very excited about it, and we've been planning it for weeks now. We're just sort of waiting for a perfect time to let you guys jump on board and get involved with it. I do want to thank everybody who helped out on Friday or Saturday for the yard sale, Friday and Saturday. We had to find more tables because we had so much stuff. We raised, I want to thank those that donated in money or products, but we had huge amounts of stamps and punches and die cuts and things donated by 2 of my customers, and we raised over $600. I forget the exact amount, but amazing, right? In one day of a yard sale. And plus we had other vendors who earned money. They didn't earn money, but they earned money to spend on new catalog products. So that's really cool. We had over $1,200 in sales for that. So it was a very successful event, and very excited for those that came and were able to purchase product at such a discount. I think was really exciting too. So anyways, it was great. It was exhausting, and I'm still playing catch up on my energy, I think. So I think that's it. If I have anything else to share, it will be coming up soon. I should say this because I think yesterday was the deadline for the early bird registration for my retreat. But it's still a great retreat. That was just a little perk to get people, because it's helpful for us to know what the interest is and what we're going to be expecting. So registration is still going on. You'll have a few weeks yet to register and save up your pennies and not miss the fabulous getaway for a whole weekend. So the setting is beautiful. The hotel rooms are so nicely accommodating, and everything is there for you. Now you do have to bring your own crafting supplies, unless you just choose to take all of our classes. And we can keep you pretty busy for the whole weekend if you want to do those. So anyways, it's a fun time to just chat with other ladies who love the same things that you do. And you can make friendships if you choose to. You can have quiet time if you choose to. And it's just, it's sort of nice for whatever the need is there. But we usually all come away rejuvenated and refreshed for having just gotten away, encouraging each other. Crafty ladies are an amazing, I want to say stamping ladies, but we don't all stamp there. So, but I think crafty people have an incredible, what do I want to say, ability to care about others. And I don't know. I find, I'm sure there's other communities that experience that same thing, but I think that and probably with our messiness of craftiness comes just a good empathy for others, and we just seem to naturally want to reach out and care about others. So anyways, it's a great time to be had by all. All right, let's get started stamping. I will shut up. All right, here we go. Okay, our first project, we are using this Coneflower Celebration stamp bundle. So this didn't catch my eye at first, but this is one of our newer styles that I'm seeing because I saw the holiday catalog. And I forgot to tell you about that, but I will tell you about that in a minute. And it's just a larger, we're coming out with a lot of larger items. And I want to tell you, I am in love with this stamp. If you thought you had enough flowers, I promise you didn't. You've never had anything like this. So let me show you. All right, so this is the card that we're doing for class. And I am going to fix this color because it's terrible. Okay, there we go. That was bad. This is more realistic. Okay, so let's get started. There's a few things that you need to know. One is that this big die cuts out 2 of these. So you'll have this so that you can use it as a little card flap to be a little surprise. We're not doing that today. So I found that I can use both sides. So I cut both of them out for class. And this one actually mirrors this one. So it works to stamp both. And the image in the flower actually stamps on this one. So you'll stamp it on the front one. And then when you open it, of course, you can write in there if you choose to do the opening one. Okay. So we are going to stamp that. And I set it up on our Stamparatus because I like to do that for class. You know that, right? So I have it set up here. And we're just going to ink the stamp with Melon Mambo. And hopefully ink that up good. Yep, perfect. All right, I don't have my cleaner right here, so I'll clean that off in a second. Next, we need to stamp the leaves, and I have that set up as well. Oh, looks like I got ink on me already. Let me just wipe that off before I end up getting that on everything. All right, get my piece up here in the corner. We'll put these 2 pieces in here. And I just want to pop my magnet in place there. And I'm using Mellow Moss. Yeah, that's an old blast from the past. Mossy Meadow on Old Olive paper. I just want them to show up really well. I think I got green ink on the brush now. All right, so now we have our leaves done. Aren't they beautiful? Okay, now we're going to do something with this just to add a little bit of an accent. I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's some shading at the top of that. So I'm going to take my sponge brush, and I'm not going to worry about this because it's going to be covered, so I can come right in from there and add my color. I'm going to be able to put a lot more color in here because I don't think I sponged my sample until I had already put it together, and I was like, it needs something. All right, so I'm bringing it down from the top so that it gets lighter as it comes down. All right, now we're ready to put this all together. We have everything stamped except for the greeting. Let's do that quick. I did it in black, but I think I'm going to do it in Mossy Meadow because we have that color right here. And I think that will be just fine. Celebrating you. There's happy belated birthday. There's thank you. You made my day. There's lots of great greetings in here for birthdays and other celebrations. So I think celebrating is a good one because you can use that for birthday or anything. And we'll just get a little tail cut on there. I keep saying I'm going to get a different pair of scissors in here, and then I keep not doing it. In between, I forget this one got bent. I have issues with that. People are using my scissors for something. And I'm saying people as in people in my family, not customers. But you know how scissors get used for whatever? Yeah. All right, so let me get rid of this because I don't want to get ink on anything. This background is the plaster-ish splatter one that just went on the retiring list, the last chance list. So if you like it, make sure you get it soon. I hope it's still there. I just realized that I want to do this whole thing because you know me and pieces sticking up because of something being embossed. I don't like that at all. So I only want things to stick up where I want them to stick up. And it looks like, did I get on there? Thought I cut myself or something. I'm just going to try to straighten this. It looks like I did not do a good job when I folded that card. All right. Okay, so now we're going to add some of our designer papers. And I took this from the Cheerful Sips paper because it had the colors that I wanted. And I actually did copy parts of this card, I think. Parts, I'm saying parts because I think that's it. But anyways, the idea came from somebody else and I don't recall. I'm sorry. I thought that I knew, but it's not coming to me. Anyways, I just love the colors. I love this Melon Mambo brightness. It's just fun to add some brightness to your day. You guys know I like soft and muted colors a lot. Like regals and neutrals and things, but I also love brightness when the colors coordinate like this. So Timid Tiger goes great with Melon Mambo, and that's sort of what I wanted to show you because our in colors are so beautiful. All right, so you're only going to see parts of this design because we're putting this on here. But if I didn't do that, look how blah it would be if I didn't stamp it. Okay, so the stamping behind this really helps to set off that. Hopefully you can see that. And we're just going to glue the top here because the rest can stay loose. You can use green glue if you want to. That works fine. Details in it. Let me see if we can get that focused in there. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and put adhesive across there. Just be careful if you use green glue for this piece because it will seep up through all those holes and you'll have a pretty sticky mess. And I stuck that down there really good, but I didn't get it centered or over to the side very well. There we go. I can slide that a little bit. Probably because that is still a little bit wet on there. So hopefully for me. All right, so now we're ready to put this on, and I will choose to use green glue. I have my little tiny ones here, but this is one of the die cuts. However, there is a regular stem in the die cuts, but I just think this is so cute. So I had to use this. And I know there's so many other things you can do with these little circular designs, but I decided that it's going to be a really whimsical flower. And I'm going to just pop that right on my card. All right, and now next I'm going to stick my leaves down because I might want to tuck them under a little bit. And so I want to make sure that I can still tuck while it's a little bit wet. Now, oh, there, I did it again. What am I touching? I must be touching the pad whenever I go back here. Well, that really stinks because I'm not sure that I can cover all of that up with my, where did my eraser get to? I took all of my, my organizers to show. So I don't have my adhesive eraser here. Well, we might just have to reposition how this flower is going to go so that I can cover that up. No worries, right? We can always fix things. If not, there's more paper in the world. But there's not more time for this video right now, so this is going to get covered. Actually, I'm going to leave a little room for a gem there, maybe. Oh my, some days. All right, I have to cover that up right now. So let me grab my gems. I'm using the In Color, they're called flat pearls. And I'm just going to grab a couple. I'm going to use a big one for right there. And it's going to look a little odd, but maybe odd. Well, I don't want to add too many because when I do this for class, we have to have enough for everybody to have some, right? So I think that'll work. Covered that up pretty good. All right, let's finish. Now we can pop our Celebrating You, and we'll put that up onto the dimensionals. All right. I think where I want to put my bow here. I sort of don't want this to cover all of my paper, my designer paper. For some reason, I stuck these on glue dots, and I don't know if this ribbon resists or if the glue dots are just getting really old and sitting out in the open too much. So, all right, I think that is it, folks. And I hope that you like that. Can you see that beautiful shading in there? So let me know your thoughts. I'm not sure why this is not focusing better. This camera is going to make me crazy. It's on autofocus. Let's try that. Nope. Maybe it's the white. I'm sorry that's not focusing better. Let me just bring it back down here. And you'll have to just get a global view or whatever it's called. It's called global because we're not focusing on the face. Let me take it off of autofocus once and just see if I can bring it. Sorry. Thank you for messing around here with this for a second because I really, there we go. Manual focus, check that out. I got it. That's a lot better, right? Yay. Oh, I like that. Okay, it's nice to know we have that available. All right, I'll put it back on autofocus for while I'm working because I can't watch that. All right, so let's go. Oh, I want to show you this one yet. This is one that I did. I shared this because I showed this fold on one of my previous videos. So it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So you can go back and check that out. I think I did a pair card with this fold, but this is the one that I did with this flower set and this beautiful sunflower folder. It should be back in. It was back in. Hopefully it didn't sell out again, but anyways, it's been pretty popular. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, I promised that I would tell you about the mini catalog. This is the gorgeousness of it. And everything inside is just as beautiful. I'm so excited. You will just enjoy the beauty as you walk through this catalog. So this will be coming to you at class. I 2-day aired it, so I have it for class this month. I will be putting it in the mail sometime towards the end of the week when I get time. So if you're a customer, you will get this in the mail. If you are not a customer, but you would like to be, just message me and let me know that you would like a copy of this catalog and that you'll be purchasing from me and that this will be yours. Okay. I can't show you the inside, but I can show you some sneak peeks. So stay tuned to the end. All right. So the next card that we're doing, we're featuring the Perfectly Pairs. And I wanted to use this card this month, especially since this month is our Created Stamping Collective, our set. This month is this bundle. And as you can see here, there are some beautiful, beautiful samples on here that you won't want to miss. Mine is a fun fold. There's some other, I can't remember what all the other ones are. I think one is a gift box, some different things that you will enjoy when your purchase is $60 or more. Okay, so just remember that a $60 purchase gets you that 12-part tutorial automatically free. And I'll show you my sample at the end of this card. So this is the card we're going to do. And it is just, this is just sort of a more simple version, but my card sample for the Creative Stamping Collective is much more involved if you like that kind of thing. It's not a great card for a class. So we're going to do a little bit of stamping, a little bit of coloring. So this has an outline stamp to it for this little pair set. And we're going to do that in Memento Black. See if I can keep from getting ink on everything this time. And instead of using a Stamparatus, which you could easily do for this, I'm going to try to get my head in the way here and stamp it, because I have 4 Stamparatuses and they are all in use. And I've been double using them, and yeah, just because I'm having all these events and I have to stay up on them. And have things ready. All right, so I'm inking this in our Darling Duckling. So this is definitely using some of the new ink colors. Darling Duckling and Strawberry Slush we're using for this card. And give me 1 second, because I see that I only have one sponge dauber here, and I need a pink one. So let me be back in a second. Okay, so I'm going to ink this in Darling Duckling. Before I stamp it, I'm going to take a little bit of espresso, and I don't want a lot, so I'm going to dab it off here. And I want the espresso to be in the darker areas. And you can see, hopefully, where the darker areas are because of how much yellow there is, okay? And you can't see it. I'm hoping it's there. And then Strawberry Slush, we're going to put on the inside here a little bit, just for a kiss of pinkness. And let's stamp that. When you turn it over on the white, you can see the color. I'm not seeing as much dark brown, but that's okay. I didn't feel like I was putting it on either when I was doing it for some reason. But I think what I might do is just go back here, try something that I don't normally do, and see if I can stamp this back in the same spot and add a little bit more color. There we go. All right, now I have a little more shading on my pear. Then we're going to stamp a good friend is a gift, and I'm trying to think what the other sayings are. Congratulations, hello, thank you, and I'm going to bring my I'm not enjoying this autofocus for some reason, so let me see if I can adjust it myself. All right, so I'm going to do this in, I think I'm going to do it in the black, even though I have the brown here. And I better find my paper. There we go. Good friend is a gift. All right. Now we're just ready to put everything together. No, we're not. We have to color. We have to color the leaves. There's not a stamp to color the leaves, so we need to do that. So I'm using Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to start with the light. Let me find the brush tip here. Now you can do one of these at a time, depending on how much blending you want to happen. I'm just going to throw all the light on, and then I'm just going to come back in with the dark and just go over that little center line a little bit. But if you don't like that look, let me Let's see if I can zoom in here. I have to get out of this. Let's see if we can zoom in there a little bit. And then you can see that, I apologize. I'm still learning this machine, trying to find a focus. So you can see if you take this, right now you've got that dark color, but I'm going to take my, actually I'm going to take the other end of my light Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to blend that a little bit. And so you can decide which you like better. It might be a little hard to see on here, but this one will give you a more blended look as opposed to the other way where it just looks sort of like a watercolor brush. I'm going to do one more thing before I try to show you that. I'm just using the regular espresso because I just want to add some to the stem here, some brown. And I didn't feel like I needed to grab a brown color of alcohol blends because I'm not blending, but I just saw a leaf I missed. Okay, let's do that leaf. I thought he was a stem. And come back in here and finish this little stem. And you could do that in green as well, but I think the brown helps it to stand out a little bit more. All right, so let's put this together. So I'm using another in color. And speaking of in colors, did you know that this year's in colors are on sale this month? I think it's 15% off. You can get the inks, the paper, and my problem is I can't zoom the one while keeping the other thing open. So anyways, and also there's lots of other things in there that are on sale, I think because they have in colors in them. So make sure you go online and check out the in color sale. Now, I am using a two-tone Old Olive cardstock for this. I don't know if you can tell that there is a different color on each side. And I want to just do a little scrunching with this because you can create a background just by scrunching. It's a little lighter weight than cardstock, so it will let you do this without ripping it. Being gentle at first, but then I'm going to just I really want a nice scrunched up look. So I start out just by letting the fibers tear a little bit. And then you could even come in with a sanding block, and just get a little extra texture in here by creating some whiteness. I'm not going to do that today, but that is an option you can do. And if you really like a torn look, you can rough up these edges a little bit more and do some tearing there, just a little bit of ripping. This paper really gives you a lot of flexibility in what you can do with it. So we're going to put this just on the front of our card. And it's going to have changed its size a little bit. So I'm going to I might have to scoot it down just a hair. Let's see what I got here. It's shorter than it is long. I want it to still look straight, I think. There we go. Not a cool look. All right, next we're going to take a layer of our Secret Sea with some of our lemon lolly. How pretty is that? Let's just pop that on there. So we'll just center this in here. Now, I just want to remind you that you can get this set of card projects in the mail when you're, if you don't come to class, for free when your order is $50 or more. All right. Now, I told you that if it's $60, you get that set of tutorials. But if you don't want to go that far, if it's $50, you get this, these cards I'm showing you tonight, the project pack for that. All right, how gorgeous is this paper? This is what I really wanted to highlight here. I love the stamp, but this paper is so beautiful. All right, we're just going to pop this in place. Because there's so many layers here, I don't think it needs any more dimension to it. But then you can choose depending on what is on your paper. I have a little pear down here. I'm going to pop this here because I don't want to cover that pink flower there. You can see here, I put it there. And then, what did I do with our saying? I am going to put one dimensional on here because it's going to stick out over the edge a little bit. And I don't want to cover all these flowers, but since there's 3 of them, I can spare to lose one, right? All right, there we go. And then we have these beautiful gems. These are our holographic resin. And I don't know, they just said they wanted to be on this card when I was looking for gems to go here. And so I left them. They hopped right on. So I'm going to use the small ones. And here I put 2 on the little flowers here. So I think I'm going to put one on this flower. And everybody's card is going to look different because they're going to have a different section of flowers here. So let's see, do I want to go the whole way down here? I think I'll keep it up here just so that your eye goes to that. I sort of popped that in the wrong spot there. All right, and then we have the large ones too. Let's see if there's a good place to put that. Maybe I'll put one over here just so that you see that little triangle happening there. I'm learning that from the scrapbook ladies from Stampin' Up. Where your eye goes because of the triangle. All right, that is it for that card. Now I did promise you I would show you the one that I did for the tutorial, and that is here. So this is a little flap, and then I just open it like that. So just a little flap card, not terribly difficult, but I did want to show you. I did want to make sure that you could see this close up. And see if we can give you a little more focus here. There we go. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that, and I'm ready to get another one for you. Just real quick, I did mention about my bingo crafting day, which is Saturday, September 6th. And it's either in person in my stamp room or by Zoom. So you can join me even if you don't live close. This packet will be sent to you. I am using the Prairie Grass stamp set, which you can add on if you don't have that already. I have a great discount in there for you if you purchase that through me with this class. And then we're going to be doing some cards with watercolor paper, also some designer paper. I'm going to show you some background techniques. And you're also going to get a whole packet of products to make your cards, tools and things like that. So that's all included. There will be a link with this video so that you can see the information on that and get registered for that if you don't want to miss that. All right, the next card is featuring the Charming Day bundle, which is just so stunning. And I've shown you some cards with the set already. And I believe last month we highlighted it on the Creative Stamping Collective. So there's lots of ideas there for you as well. But I did find this beautiful sample, and I thought that's one we have to do. Even though there's a lot of coloring on it, I think that you'll enjoy it. So let me just put this over here to the side. We're first going to stamp our flower, and we're going to stamp that memento, of course. So let's get that set up on here. All right. I think that looks good. We'll stop there with that. Let's grab this out of here. Okay, so let's do some coloring. I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper or notepad to put under my anything here to catch any ink that goes through or just to make it softer. So I am using, let me just show you, I've chosen a couple of colors here. I'm using Petal Pink and I'm using Calypso Coral. The cardstock is Petal Pink, but I felt like to get it to show up, I wanted to use something a little darker. Then I'm using Soft Seafoam and Old Olive. Okay, so we're going to use those 4 sets of color. I'm going to start with the dark Petal Pink, and that's not it. I apologize. I only have light Petal Pink, so I guess that's what I'm using. Now I'm just going to color sections at a time because I want to make sure that this stays wet enough to get my light Calypso Coral to blend in a little bit. So, and what I'm using is a little technique that you just dot it rather than pull your brush. You just dot the color on, and that just gives you a different look that I think is really soft and pretty for this card. All right, so there we go. And that's blending in a little bit just because the Petal Pink is still wet. So I brought just the lights of each color. Again, because I want it to be still wet, I'm just going to come back here and put the light Calypso Coral around. This reminds me of a rose that my daughter gave me, and I really only got it like a month or maybe 2 months ago, and it really took off. She gave me a couple of them, and I didn't get them all planted right away. But anyways, this is somewhat the color, although when it blooms fully, when it's open, the petals have a little bit of yellow inside. But I love this peach color. I'm sorry about that noise. That is a new iPad, or not iPad, but a tablet that I got. And I have no idea. Like, it's not connected to my phone, so I don't know what it's doing. I'm hoping to use it in my videos, but I have to first figure out how to make that happen. Technology and me just really don't get along very well, but I'm trying, as an old lady, to learn this stuff. And you guys are so wonderful to bear with me. The zooming in and that kind of thing is from the new camera that I got, which is supposed to make things so much better, but first you have to learn how to use it, right? All right, so now we have Soft Seafoam. I have light Soft Seafoam, and I'm going to do the same thing with this, and I think I have light Old. Oh, that's dark. Okay, I guess I'm using dark Old Olive for this one. Again, just using that dot technique. I think I can do 2 leaves at a time. Trying not to take too much of your time up, or my video's time, because I'm limited on how big a portion can be for me to upload this to Canva to splice it all together. So, yeah, as I throw things. All right. I think we're going to do Through the Magic of Television here. And I think you get the gist of how that works. And I'm going to just zoom in here and show you. Well, maybe if I can get this to come up. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. There you go. So you can see how that looks a little closer. All right. Let me just go back to where we were, and I'm gonna finish this off and then we'll put this card together. Okay, we have our pieces finished except for we need to stamp on this, and I'm using the arch dies to create this look with the 2 different arches. On this one I did 2 different sizes, but I loaned out the one size for my friend who cut some stuff for me. So the class will be on this one, which this one has a piece on it. So I did both the same size, which is going to give us a similar look. So I'm not too worried about that. All right, we're going to emboss this with the Thanks for Being You, because I want to do it on the Mellow Moss and I want it to show. So it's going to have to be embossed. So we're just going to use our embossing buddy, stamp with Versamark. We're going to put some white powder on there. And then we'll heat that baby up and we will be finished with that part. There we go. Get this over here. All right, now we can put this together. Now, if you look close here, you can see that I punched a hole in there. But to make it even easier, we're just going to pretend that there's a hole punched in there. And I'm just going to wipe that white powder off on my skirt and drop that on the floor. So let's get some adhesive on here. And I want just a little bit of a white outline, like so. And then this is embossed with the exposed brick embossing folder. So pretty, isn't it? I just love that. Usually there's at least one that I find is my go-to. And years ago, what was the one that I loved so much? It was something just a really tiny pattern. It looked like linen. I can't remember what it was called, but I was really sad when they took that away, and I'm going to be extremely sad if they take this one away. I usually don't do tone on tone with my layers, but in order to emboss this, it works better to have a layer as opposed to doing it to the front of the card. So that's why a lot of times you'll see that happen. Even though, like, we're going to, it's the same color. So this is one of the dies from this bundle, and it's so beautiful. And I've actually seen this where they colored these in and like did this in white and colored these, and it's totally gorgeous. I'm using it, well, that was a lot of glue. I'm using it just as a background piece for the leaf part, but I could have just taken the leaves off and just used those. But anyways, I'm going to tuck this under here. Actually, that's not at all where I want to put it. Duh. It goes on here, silly goose. That was close to a wrong thing. Maybe if I put this in place first. Can you stay on there while I just glue this down? If I put this one here first, then I won't get confused. Get your layers right, Cindy. Hopefully that's sticking good now. Just give this a little bit of a center. All right, and then the next we'll put these on. And I might tuck my green pieces under here first so that I can make sure I get them underneath. I do want that underneath piece to show fairly good, so I'm going to just turn that a little bit. I know these leaves are going to be tone on tone there, but I think you can still see that nice texture that they give. So I want that. And then we'll tuck this one under here somewhere. All right, and while I have this in place, I'm just going to stick some glue under here so that I can remember. It's sliding on me where I wanted that. All right, almost done. I think I'm going to glue one of these leaves down just so that that stays down for me a little bit. I want it to be a little bit loose so that it has some dimension. All right, and I didn't get enough glue here to hold that in place. And you could pop this whole piece up if you wanted to, but again, there's a lot of layers. There's 1, 2, 3, you got 4, and this is your 5th layer. So you're already getting pretty heavy as a card, or thick as a card. And then we're going to use these low profile dots that are they're actually in Petal Pink. So that would be pretty to use. But I like the gold too. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let's try the Petal Pink on here to go with our paper. These are another of my favorite. I really like that. But the gold goes with the ribbon. So, you know, you still have lots of choice there. Now, I wanted to show you why I decided not to do this with the ribbon for the sample. I want to show you how easy it is to tie your own bow. I know some of my customers do not like to tie bows. So we're going to pull out our bow tire and we're just going to tie our bow right here. I might make this just a little bit bigger. So you're going to cross the right over the left because I'm right-handed. And then bring the top piece the whole way around and then just tie this in a little square knot. And bam, you've got your bow perfect every time. So my husband designed these. We used to make them out of wood. Now we make them out of 3D printed. And the little posts pop right in there and you're good to go. All right, and now we can just glue dot that on there. For my glue dots. And you'll never know that there's not a hole in there, right? And then we can trim this up a little bit. All right, there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that card. I think that it could have better color, but again, who knows? That's not quite real, but there we go. That gives us a little more real color. All right, we have one more to go, I believe, so stay tuned. Our final card we're making with this Baubles and Blooms stamp set, and I don't have the dies here for some reason, but this is featured in our next Christmas card Stamp-A-Stack that's later this week, and the cards I think are just stunning with this. The stamp set doesn't look like much because you're seeing 3 different layers, so, and you're not seeing it cut out with the dies. So when you see that all put together, it's really cool how they figured that out, what would look nice together. So these pieces, this card was designed by pieces while I was designing that Stamp-A-Stack that were just laying on my table, and they just called to be put together as a card. So that's what we're doing. So this is, I embossed the cutout image with the glass embossing folder, the Grass and Gardens embossing folder, Glass and Gardens, did I say that right? So I embossed that with that, and then I embossed this with, I think it might be a retired embossing folder. I can't remember even what it's called, but it has a pretty pattern on it. And our colors are Blueberry Bushel and Pecan Pie. Isn't that cool? But I did put this one in our 2-tone because we're going to add some distressing on that with a little bit of sanding. So that's why I chose this image. I just wanted a really nice soft, and sometimes I want that on something a little bit. This is an old Stampin' Up! Sanding block, so it doesn't have a whole lot of life left in it, but it does some just soft taking off a paper. You don't need something real firm. You need a real fine sandpaper for this anyway. So we used to carry a textured paper that was a white core so that you could do this. So anyways, there you go. And when you see it all together, it adds just a really nice. Something else that we could do, I just thought of that might be interesting, is just a little bit of ink added to that to give a cool look. Let me grab my sponge dauber. I grabbed two colors because I wasn't sure what I would like the best. So behind here where it's not going to show, we're going to practice a little bit. I'm going to try Crumb Cake to see what that does. And I'm going to try Early Espresso to see what that does. I think the espresso changes our color tone too much. So I'm going to try it with the Crumb Cake. You tell me what you think in the comments. But I think this might be just a bit of a, you could use a brush as well, but the brush is going to go down into the groove a little bit more, and I mostly just want to stay on the top where we sponged. So again, I'm using Crumb Cake on Pecan Pie. And just softening that white tone a little bit. Yes, I'm getting it on my table, but it'll wipe off. Oh, here we go. I think my pad is pretty dry. I think we might have used this for our no paint night, and looks like I didn't re-ink it good enough. But that's probably good for when you're sponging and you just want a little bit of color. You have to work a little harder, but at least you don't get those dark spots quite as much. I got a little bit dark there, but all right. I think I like that. If you compare that to this one, isn't that a lot nicer? Okay, let's put it together, and then we'll decide if we like it or not. and then it's too late, no turning back, right? Again, because this is embossed, I'm doing the whole edge on that. I don't usually waste that much adhesive, but all right, now we're ready to pop up this, and I'm going to just go ahead and put some dimensionals on there. And I'm going to be pretty generous. One thing to note that I just learned from the scrapbooking retreat is that you don't have to take off all the covers, because these two will work just fine. They don't have to, the outside is going to be the one that glues it down. So you don't need to remove all of them to create the look that you want. That will still support without being glued down. So how cool is that? It just takes a little less time. Now, I need to get this gold piece glued on. And did I take one out? Yes, there it is. I want to get this glued on because I should have glued it on first. It takes a minute for that to stick down, so I want to get that on there so that I can get my bow on there in a minute. Let's see, let me do something. Let me stick this under here. Maybe, like so. And then I'm going to sit this block on here. There we go. Okay, you sit there and stew for a minute. Let's go ahead and stamp our Merry Christmas. Now, this is the Merry Christmas from this set. Two different stamps, but because I need them to fit in this small space, I have to stamp them each separately. And I did this whole piece, but you can see here I only used part of it, but I still have the stitching showing. And we can decide how we want to do that. Let me just scoot these aside here. We're going to use blueberry bushel to stamp that. So I'm going to do my Mary first. And then I can ink this and do my Christmas. Like that. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Now, I did stamp this with this in the Stamparatus, but I did that ahead just because I know this video is going to get long. But I wanted a center for it, so I just took my Blueberry Bushel marker and I just tapped in the center to create sort of just a center for that flower. And doesn't that make it pop a little bit more? And we're going to just glue that right here to the edge of our ornament. You can put it wherever you want. So I did cut this a little bit long. Let me see. Let's see what we have here with our gold little hanger. All right, that's looking pretty good. I want to see here what this looks like because I'm not sure. I might just leave that whole thing there because I like it. This will help it to stand out a little bit. I might put that in here. Okay, here we go. And then we have this beautiful blue little leaf piece. This paper and this die come from Peace on Earth, which is coming out next month. So you will get a chance to purchase those. There's 3 different shades of blue in this set. One's real light, and then one is really dark, almost like Secret Sea, maybe. And I'm just gonna pop that right there. All these pieces that don't want to stay. Stay on there. Okay. Next we have our bow, and I do have those already tied and hooked onto some glue dots. We'll pop that on like it's attached to our little ornament hanger thingamajigger. And then on that, I think I used the same gems on this as I did on the last card, and I put those away already. But you can see them here. I used the gold one, so it would be good if we used the pink ones on the other one, right? I forgot that I used both the same. So this is our new design with the sponging. And I don't know. I want to hear from you. I don't want to say. You know what I'm thinking. Which one do you like better? Do you like the white, or do you like the one that's sponged and toned down a little bit? All right, that is it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Don't forget that you can earn these cards for free. I do say by the 15th of the month because I will run out of projects. So you need to get your order in before the 15th in order to guarantee that you're going to get a set of cards. If I run out before the 15th, I promise you I will make some more, even though it's really a big chore because it's harder to cut just for one card than it is for like 30 cards at a time. But anyways, because I have a big cutter. I promised you a sneak peek, and so I wanted to show you this gorgeous, gorgeous paper. This paper is the Traditions of Christmas. It's part of a suite that is just as stunning, but I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek. So you can see the gold accents on the one side of the paper, and then the other paper has this really nice, just graphic patterns. Just stunning. Like if you just take this, I just so want to just make a card right now. Look how pretty that is. Okay, that's one. I have one for fall as well. Let me just, oops, pull these out here, and I'll show you the other one. I don't have these quite as neatly organized because I couldn't scoot them under things like I did the other one. Excuse me. So again, you've got these beautiful pages with gold accents and then some neutral designs in between. This one has gold lines on it. This one has gold accents on the leaves. Just, oh my goodness, are they just not yummy? So this one's got some gold accents, the real neutral pattern. And the same with this one, gold accents on this one. So yeah, that's what you have to look forward to, folks. So for me, it was difficult. There's a lot of stuff that I want in this catalog and the online exclusives. One of these might be from the online exclusives. I have trouble remembering what's from where, but I want to tell you that, oh my goodness, it's time to become a demonstrator if you are seeing so many things that you want and you know you can't afford to get them all. It's really helpful to have a discount, let me tell you. All right, so now's the time. There's a link in the description, so you can click on that and be able to pre-order all of this good stuff as well. So that's coming out in August or September for customers. Demonstrators we're pre-ordering it.